was masked by golden curtains. You didn't know we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. From the shadows, light emerges, breaking through the veils of dark. 0 points and gravities they converge, yeah. Guiding voices, revelation start. Ancient whispers call. They're begging us to open our eyes. We stand tall, defying all their lies. You didn't know we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. Forbidden knowledge we dare to see, unveiling secrets setting us free. In this epic we play our part with fierce hearts. You didn't know we're shattering the silence. Feel the power. Revelations on the rise. Still be cast away. Alienated from the aids of that inventor in disguise. Ideas ahead of time dismissed with narrow eyes. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world you can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Lost on them. Kevin structures crumbling from the same old stem. They laugh like I'm crazy, but I see it all so clear. Exploited labor under injustice burning ears. Fighting for a change in this wasteland of noise. But they call me foolish when I teach and boys. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? Oh, benefactor boy, keep fighting the fights, chasing revolutions in the darkest nights. A dreamer with vision beneath the laughter and noise. A future so bright waiting for the right choice. Benefactor boy, dreaming about the world he can't deploy. Changing the system, but treated like a toy. Ideas misunderstood, but brilliance is his point. Benefactor boy, can't you hear his voice? cut down all the lies. And it's just fixed, it's all in the map. You can't pull from the ether, you're just chasing a path. But oh, Michael's rising like a morning sun. With the power of either, he will be outdone. Now stand up and shout, let the truth be affirmed. Feel the energy flow, let's change the world. In the heart of a life, the tension was thick. Skeptics gathered round the table ready to pick. Chose your fruit, but neck and taste beer. And I buy the stream, or just chasing a spin. But Michael smiled by with fire in his eyes. Just watch as I spin, let the naysayers cry. Draw spin fast, and a heart full of fight. I'll show you the power that's hidden inside. Oh, Michael's rising like the morning sun. With the power of either, he will be outdone. Well, stand up and shout, let the truth be affirmed. Feel the energy flow, let's change the world. There's ever been.
Feel the pulse, divine sensation. Everyone needs just a little foundation. Feel the pulse, divine sensation. Everyone needs just a little salvation. Seeking out the morning, feel the pulse, divine sensation.
Sorry about that, guys. I got a late start. We're just getting set up now. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, how's everybody doing this evening? Yes, Vors, go ahead, suggest any experiments that you have in mind. Keep in mind, though, that I am limited by time and resources, but if I can, and if I do have the ability to do an experiment safely, I will do it. So, with that said, welcome members to our first members-only pre-game show for the League of Extraordinary Inventors. Now, keep in mind that the League of Extraordinary Inventors main show will be open to the general public as always. We will be switching over around 8:50 to that next live stream. So it is a separate live stream. It's not what I traditionally do when Mike has his League podcast is I'll have it the same live stream, but now that we've separated the pregame show for members only, we're going to do it 2 separate live streams. So I have the link in the description for the live stream already for you guys to set it up when the time comes, and I will be posting it in the chat as well to remind you that we're getting ready to switch over to the main show. Now, with that said, this members-only pregame show is intended for weekly updates. So, as you know, I like to give you guys like the updates first before I put them out on YouTube for the general public regarding the coils and all the research that I've been doing. So I wanted to give back a little, guys. Give you guys a little something. You know, and I always like to include a little more than just the traditional League of Extraordinary Inventors main game show, because I'd like to do a post-game show, but it's so late. By the time we finish up, it's like 12 o'clock where I am, sometimes 1 o'clock. So instead, I do a pre-game show. Otherwise, it would be after the main show. That's traditionally how we would do this kind of thing. We'll reserve the end of the show for the members. I waited in chat last time and it booted me off. Me too, it's 7 now. That's weird. It booted you off. What do you mean? Was chatting with the captain. Yeah, I'm not sure. It booted you out of the chat? No, El Capitan. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Anyways, oh, on my channel. Yeah, last time there was somewhat of a hiccup. I'm not really sure what happened. It was streaming though. For some reason, sometimes it doesn't show my new live stream when I switch over. It's really weird. Like, it didn't give any of my other accounts notifications of my switch to over live stream. You know, it gave me the first notification, but not the second one. So, if you're ever in doubt about my live stream, just go to my main page, and if I'm live, it should say in the live section, it should say like there's something, you know, one of the videos is live in the bottom right corner of the thumbnail. Otherwise, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, this is supposed to be our chill spot, man. This is our pregame show, you know, where we can chill out and talk and discuss some of my new updates. I have a few exciting updates, but first, we're going to be reviewing Tom Bearden's testimony on serious disclosure. And we might watch the whole thing, maybe most of it, but I am going to stop it periodically and frequently to give you guys some insights on how this testimony really connects with the research that I've been doing and the research that the Fringe think tank has been doing And it's extraordinary because this is an older one. This is at least 10, 20 years old. And he's talking about the stuff that we're discovering now, but it's nothing new. You know, it's just been suppressed. So, Creative Commons educational for copyright issues? I'm not sure what that means. So, yeah, let me load the testimony here. Some pretty good stuff on this this interview with Tom Bearden. But yeah, you guys shouldn't have any problem switching over to the next live stream because the link is already available for you. See, I'm clicking the link right now, and it's taking me to the live stream, which is not set up yet, but it has... Yeah, I thought I set it up with a trailer. It might not have a trailer. Chat, slow mode is off, chat away, okay. Yeah, if it doesn't work, then I'll have to just reset it up. But yeah, just keep in mind if the link doesn't work, just check back on my main channel and I'll have something up. I usually reboot it quickly. Sometimes the stream crashes, sometimes Streamlabs crashes and I have to restart the computer. Stuff like that happens, and you know, it takes maybe 5-6 minutes to get back up. But you know, just keep in mind that if I'm in a dedicated podcast like the pregame show or the league or the think tank on Monday, or any of those podcasts we do, we have a reserved time for you guys. So if something happens with the stream, if I'm using Streamlabs, then just keep in mind that the stream will be back up as soon as the issue is rectified. And you can also check the community tab. If I'm not able, for whatever reason, to get the stream uploaded or up back in time, I can update you in the community tab as well, and possibly post an alternative link for a host for the stream. So there are options. Just make sure that if the stream goes down or you can't find the link, just check the main channel and hit the live tab or the community tab for updates. Let's drag that over here.
Any way that you can be gotten to where you're naive, Colonel, U.S. Army, retired, spent 20 years, a little more than that, in the active military, mostly in air defense, various other assignments, field artillery, you know, technical intelligence assignment, liaison to Canada, to some technical work going on site in turbulent wakes and reentry systems and so forth at the Canadian Armament Research and Development Establishment, and spent quite a number of tours in basically R&D. Conventional electrodynamics model does not allow this to happen. In other words, it doesn't allow you to extract excess energy from the vacuum and use that to power your load. So it doesn't allow you to make a self-powering system. So we took the approach that some of the phenomenology we had seen in experiments and so forth convinced us that it was possible, and there didn't seem to be any real physical reason why it couldn't be extracted if we could find the way to do it. But we had the problem of why doesn't the electrodynamics allow it to be done. So at the same time, we also began a study of the foundations of electronics. In other words,
So this is very important because in their observations, they were seeing something that traditional electrodynamics in science couldn't explain through the traditional laws of thermodynamics, right? And so what they did is they had to actually go back and look at the history of electrodynamics, right? And its development and what specifically might have happened to that field of study that led to the degradation of the state that it's in, regarding ignoring some of these phenomenon that actually exist in nature that we don't recognize in traditional mainstream science. So this is very important. His testimony is very, very significant, and it does relate heavily to what we're doing with these coils.
what are the fundamental concepts that are assumed in the theory? Where did they come from? And how did they get in there? And that turned out to be very interesting and very pertinent, because electrodynamics kept getting modified and restricted is what kept happening to it. The original theory that Maxwell had was 20 equations and 20 unknowns, quaternion type equations. What we've done is the closed current loop circuit, where all the carriers have the same mass per charge ratio. All the buckets have the same weight, so to speak. Anytime you build a circuit like that, it's quite easy to show that the amount of energy that circuit collects, when we do this free regauging and we do increase its energy, ever how much it collects, it will then use precisely 50% of that to destroy the thing that let it do that. And it's really the dipole, the source dipole. It will use that to kill itself, so to speak, and have no more excess energy. The other half will go out to the circuit and power the loads and losses. That means less than half gets to the load. Well, to restore that source dipole, in other words, so we can get some more energy in to use, it costs just as much to restore it as was used to destroy it. So we got to put in more than we can ever get out in the load with such a squirrely circuit. And that's the only kind of circuit we've used in power systems since day one. We're still building them. We're still making power systems that deliberately kill them. So we pay the power company to have a giant wrestling match inside its generator and lose.
So Vor says open systems violate thermodynamics, and this is well admitted in academia. So absolutely, and what we'll hear from Bearden's testimony in a moment is specifically that how that's possible, and how he describes it is there's a different set of laws of thermodynamics for these kinds of systems, because energy, as he likes to say, likes to conserve itself in 4 dimensions, and we force it into 3. So it's a little bit of a interesting take there. I'm not sure if I fully understand it, which is why I do want to watch it again. But it does make sense what he's saying for the most part, just from a general, information take. So let's get back to Bearden.
That's really what we pay them for. So that doesn't seem to be the way to run a railroad. It would seem to be much more ideal to freely change the energy of the system, pay a little switching cost so we get it switched over to the load and dump it in the load and let it go, let it power the load. And so you can do it. So the problem we ran into was that the electrodynamics had actually been modified to throw out the very kind of systems that we had seen in our experiments, evidence that could be done, but violates the ordinary electrodynamics. And we can do it and not violate conservation of energy. We can do it in accord with thermodynamics, and we can do it in accord with physics and electromagnetics.
So he said it was thrown out. Those parts of science, those parts of physics were thrown out. And, this can be interpreted in multiple different ways. Some people say it was not nefarious. I have a tendency to believe that it was intentional and a manufactured suppression and not something like out of ignorance. For the most part, I think it was intentional and manufactured. The reason why we do not discuss these kinds of phenomenon.
Now, this is absolutely rigorous. I don't care how many folks want to check that, it will hold up. It is rigorous. So this was one thing we established from the study of the foundations of electromagnetics. You are permitted to have electromagnetic systems that power themselves and their load, and you don't have to put in the energy. They take it from the vacuum, the active vacuum. Our engineers are taught to throw away about 10 trillion times for a typical average case as much energy as they pull out of the vacuum without even knowing it in a generator and a battery. And it's pouring out down the circuit and misses the circuit. They throw all that away and only calculate the little bit that we catch in that circuit and then use. Now, when we measure the circuit, we obviously measure the energy being dissipated by the various pieces of that circuit. Well, if the energy is being thrown out of there, it had to get in there. So obviously the measurements of the circuit will match Poynting's theory because it'll match the energy that actually went in there to get dissipated. Like the country boy said, you got a pipe here, so to speak, and it's got some holes in it. If you measure all the water flowing out, that's how much water come in it. Now your whole river can be around it and missing the pipe, and you won't measure that. So we have built a whole science based on throwing away this enormous energy that is pulled out of the vacuum by every little old separation of charges, every dipole.
So basically what he's saying is that the way we're measuring electrical systems now is we're not the energy that we're throwing out, the free energy that is generated by the collapsing electromagnetic field, the back EMF, the free energy that's just thrown out, that's not calculated, that's not weighed in because it's thrown out, right? You got holes in the pipe, and the water that's flowing out of the holes aren't being calculated. But if you take in consideration what you're throwing out and try to patch those holes, you get a lot more than what you put in. Because again, nature doesn't like asymmetry. It likes balance, right? If you have asymmetry in your system, then it's going to give you a little bit extra to work with. Right? Kind of like, pushing a swing and gravity pushing back down. It's giving you a little bit extra to work with, right? To balance itself out. It's not trying to stay in that unbalanced state. And that's the thing here that we need to really take note of, is that energy is free all around us. And the thing is, nature is always giving us more back, and we have to take that more and use it and not just ignore it, because when we work with nature, we can actually achieve over unity. And this is the basic concept, right? When you break that system, you have that asymmetry, it forces nature to push back a little bit, give you a little bit more back EMF or energy into the system. If you resonate that back EMF with the rest of the system, instead of it going against the current, it's now flowing with the current, and it's able to be utilized in an efficient way, as we've seen with the ABHA coil.
Well, in the 50s, in the 1950s, particle physicists discovered, Wu and others discovered broken symmetry. They discovered how fundamental a process something like this dipole is, where we separate two opposite kinds of charges. And T.D. Lee, for example, looked at it for physical charges and so forth, and Lee won a Nobel Prize for it. Any dipole is a broken symmetry in the furious exchange with a vacuum. It's a broken three-dimensional symmetry. What does this mean? Cutting through all the words and getting down to country boy language. It means that nature does not insist on conserving energy in 3 dimensions. We do because we have a 3-dimensional mind. We like to think in terms of space because observation itself destroys time, and what we look at is spatial. So we like to think the world is made of space, not space-time. However, nature loves to work in 4 dimensions. Her fundamental law is conservation of energy must apply in 4 dimensions. Now, you're not going to beat that one, so never think about that. But there is no law of nature that requires you to come in and say, also it must apply simultaneously in 3 dimensions. If we build some gadget that makes it apply in 3 dimensions, we apply an extra constraint on what nature will give us. Turning that around, we go around building things that insist on having this 3-dimensional exchange of energy. We got to put it in 3 dimensions for whatever we get out and lose some in the middle. So we got a terrible situation all the way. It's called entropic engineering. We always got entropy beating us to death. Never go over unity. Forget it. Lose a lot. We talk about, you know, efficiencies at 30% and so forth for our power systems when we talk about burning the coal and all.
Hey, Vors comes in with the $3 super chat. Appreciate that, Vor. Really helps out, buddy. And it's a cool little animation of a green chicken that says fist bump. Very cool. I like that.
And all that stuff. But nature doesn't require you to do that. All you have to do is break a little bit of this 3 symmetry set of chains.
Oh, by the way, this is Vor's 10th super chat on live stream. So let's celebrate by actually giving Vor what Vor wants. And that is the goal. What everybody wants. The goal, right? What's our goal? To get me to build a jewel thief blindfolded. So, congratulations. You achieved the goal milestone for the evening with that super chat. I might start a new one, but this is very cool. I will get on that video. It might take me a couple weeks, but I will build a jewel thief blindfolded.
Where you have tied her feet to the floor. Once you break the flow in 3 dimensions, you no longer have to conserve energy in 3 dimensions. The basic conservation of energy is an inflow from 4 dimensions, outflow in 3 dimensions. From the 4th dimension, converted and flowed out into 3. And that one is free. Giant negentropy is free. Nature will start reorganizing a goodly percentage of the whole vacuum for you, spreading at the speed of light, and will continue it as long as you leave the dipole alone. The original charges and dipoles in the original matter of the universe have been putting out energy and reorganizing the vacuum for 15 billion years. Today we're said we can't engineer negentropy when negentropy is the easiest thing in the world to engineer, whereas entropy is the hard way to do it, and that's the way we all do it.
You see how easy the jewel thief is to put together, right? It's so simple. It's just a transistor, a couple of resistors, and a neon lamp. Like that's basically it. It's the simplest design. It's just how you build it. It's how you're directing the energy and controlling the flow. That's really what matters. It's not, you know, how many components you have. I think Nathan has a rule that he doesn't use more than 10 or 20 components or something on a system, which is very, very smart. Brilliant to limit yourself to that, because you do want to keep it simple, stupid. And I'm talking to myself, stupid. You want to keep it simple. And we are trying to keep it simple with the Lightning Thief. I have some updates for you on that in a little bit, along with some updates on the micro vortex coil. I did some rotary testing on that, and we'll go over some videos that are also available on the member section if you are in a hurry and you don't have time to sit here and chill with us, and you want to catch those on the go. All right.
Bottom line of this is, if we'll initiate the negative entropy and let it go, it's just like you punched a hole in the ground and you got a big gusher of oil. You don't have to furnish the pressure, and you don't have to furnish the oil.
It's 2 holes in the word.
And it comes out in real oil that you can use. And the common dipole in every electrical circuit pours out energy in that fashion. The problem is not how to get enormous energy from the vacuum. That problem been totally solved. It was actually solved in 1903 had we understood it. Had we understood what Whittaker wrote. We didn't. But now we do understand it, and we do certify very rigorously with some of the AIS papers that that is for real. The problem now is, how do we catch a goodly bit of this energy and use it asymmetrically? You dump it in a load, let it power that load, and not use half of it to go back over and kill the little dipole. So we set about then to build one that wasn't built that way.
Has it been successful?
Yes, we have been successful. We have just built our second model. The first model produced 5 times out what we put in.
I believe this is the Meg he's talking about, right? I could be wrong on that, but if somebody has more information on the device that he's referring to, Tom Bearden, I thought it was the Meg, but I could be wrong.
We pay for switching costs. We don't put any energy into it to actually power the system. It comes right out of a permanent magnet.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
Which is a dipole. The reason for using a permanent magnet is very simple. You can pass the flux back in a flux channel back through the permanent magnet, and those poles don't get destroyed. They are welded into the material when you magnetize it. That's not like little charges separated in electrical charges. You knock the charges out and destroy the dipole. So we can bypass one of the big problems with a permanent magnet. We don't have to destroy the dipole. That gives us one solution going in. The other is, how do we catch the energy? Well, that turned out to be...
See, this is starting to make sense, guys. I'm just starting to think about our results from the... Okay, so we have the results from the Wattman experiment. Remember when I had on live, we upped the power and we were getting 46 watts consumption, and then we started spinning the neodymium sphere in the center of the coil, and we got it down to 16 watts. This makes sense. It's repairing or not restoring, but keeping the dipole alive or whatever, or adding to it. I'm not really sure, but you're introducing a permanent magnet into the system, and this is what he's saying. To prevent from destroying that dipole. I mean, there's really no other way that I can explain what's happening. And maybe Nathan or Gerald or Mike, or either Mike, have some more insight on this. But it's very interesting how much this is connecting with my research.
Fairly simple. We found a material which will separate the magnetic field from what's called a magnetic vector potential. The vector potential flows unceasingly from the magnet. It'll flow from now for the next 15 billion years. You can't slow it down. You can't change it as long as that magnet is there. So you have plenty of energy flow. The question is how to use it. So we use it by diversion. We reason that this flow will replenish. It's like a river. It's like a humongous river. If we dip some energy out of it, it'll replenish the hole we dipped out of at the speed of light. So for all practical purposes, instantly. So we can dip and dip and dip. We have to pay to switch to do that. But we can keep dipping, and the water feels as fast as we dip it.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Then if we come down to another area and we let the water that was replenished still interact with something, and at the same time we dump the water that we dipped in there, we will have more energy by far than what we're paying for dipping. So we looked at it as an energy flow process, which it is, and we found a material which would do part of the dipping for us. It will separate the magnetic field from the magnetic vector potential. Yes, there is a history, a long history of over-unity systems.
What has happened to them?
For example, Nikola Tesla had one. Basically, his big magnifying transformer that he had on Long Island was such an over-unity system. The way that one apparently worked is he got the entire Earth itself in resonance. The crust of the Earth, as you go down in there, is made of highly nonlinear materials, particularly when you get down to the perovskite or whatever you call that stuff. And it will act in the bulk even. It will interact in a sort of a nonlinear optics fashion. It will do phase conjugation. And so eventually what it does is everything going on is feeding energy into the Earth starts to feed energy into that wave that he created. So he gets a lot more energy in his resonant wave fed from outside, from the environment in the interior of the Earth. And that's the way he built up a humongous wave of energy.
And remember what Nathan was talking about. He just said it. The interior of the Earth it's coming from, that extra energy. And that makes sense when you're using these different methods of grounding. You're getting a spike in that energy.
His idea was you could then put in a tap on it anywhere else on the world and extract it free. And of course, J.P. Morgan's take on that was, that's foolish. You can't put a meter on it. So that actually doomed much of Tesla's career at that point, when Morgan found out that Tesla, was going to produce the energy freely. Small cost here at a central location, everybody else could tap it for free. It wouldn't have powered the whole world today. It would have powered much of the world in those days. Tesla also, we're pretty sure, put a system in a car and ran a car on it. And the reason we're pretty sure is his nephew, who rode in the car with him, is still alive and can describe the incident and how the engine had no gas, no input of power, and would still run once Tesla got it started. And we know it's perfectly possible. Tesla apparently knew how to use this giant negative entropy process that's universal everywhere. Energy is free for the taking from the vacuum, anywhere you want it. We just have to learn to use that. Some of the breakthroughs in the past have been deliberately suppressed. I will name a few. T. Henry Moray was inspired, of course, by Tesla's work, and he demonstrated so many times to so many scientific and engineering groups and people who were skilled in the art. There is absolutely
pictures
no
of him.
question that T. Henry Moray had a system that produced about 50 kilowatts.
A big box.
Out of a 55-pound box.
Yeah.
This is well
it's
established
like
as you go back and
medium-sized
look at all
wooden
kind
box.
of certified tests and everything else that he did. There's all kinds of skullduggery that happened there. I don't think T. Henry Moray ever got a decent chance to ever do anything with that. The Russians even tried to kidnap him at one time. It reads like a James Bond movie, but it's real. It really happened, and it really happened here in the United States.
What year was that?
This was before the war. This was in the 1930s. In the same general period of time, one of the greatest electromagnetic fellows we ever had, scientist, was Gabriel Krohn. And Gabriel Krohn invented a true negative resistor working on a Navy contract for Stanford University. He was never permitted to reveal the exact way that he constructed his negative resistor. But I used direct quotes where he, in fact, said, we have a negative resistor and we can disconnect the generator from this network analyzer when we got negative resistors in there because they will power the circuit. So that one was, in fact, suppressed. I don't know whatever happened to it, but it vanished. And he never did reveal the secret of what he called his open path, connecting any 2 points in a circuit. But it is in the literature, and it's well documented because he was one of, perhaps the leading electrical scientist in the United States at that time. So there's another one that went down the tube. Various and sundry people have made casual ones from time to time over the years. I'd estimate probably 50 different inventors have casually invented something. Even if they didn't understand it, they did get it to go over Unity. We're never able to get anything done with it. Most of the time they incurred a lot of enmity from the scientific community. Sometimes we're really hounded. And sometimes we're just very naive, sometimes very naive. Probably the best documented scientifically over Unity systems, self-running, self-powering systems, were developed by the Russians before World War II. It's in the French scientific literature, and it's also in the Russian scientific literature. The papers are there. I quote them in many of the things that I published. And you can go check the papers. The theory is there. Many papers are published on this in the Russian scientific literature. They built what we call parametric oscillators. They have an oscillator going and they change in the middle, they switch the actual inductance or capacitance or both of the things so that it becomes a self-oscillation device. And they reached, you know, goodly power for those days of 50 and 100 kilowatt devices. There are many ways of looking at the suppression that's occurred in this area, and certainly I do not wish to talk about it myself, but I've been a victim of quite a bit of suppression. So has any other legitimate researcher in this area. All I can do is give you my ideas, and drawn from my own experiences and what I think it is and where I think it's coming from. Today, we don't have so much big kingdoms. Today, we have big economic programs, big economic countries, or basically, we have cartels. We have a whole set of cartels in an area, interlocking corporations, and behind this, we have a few people who are quite wealthy and who own most things.
So this is something that's also important to understand, because most people believe that fascism in the modern countries went away, right? And fascism is something just for like third world countries and communist societies, or I'm sorry, communist states. But no, the real reality is that fascism didn't go away. Okay, fascism evolved like every other power hierarchy evolves. Okay, fascism, at least modern day fascism, was best described by Benito Mussolini, who was a fascist. And he described fascism, modern day fascism, as the successful unification between corporate and state power. Okay, so this is what Dr. Greer refers to as industrial fascists. They're fascists. It's a covert, more clandestine form of fascism that's more on the down low. The fascism in Nazi Germany was very loud, right? So in order to survive, as anything would, it went into hiding, and it hid behind industries, right? And specifically these giant multinational corporations in the energy and propulsion sectors of the market, who have this revolving door between them and the government. And they can hide revolutionary, groundbreaking technology behind the guise of private property, private intellectual property. So, there are ways that the private sector can hide technology from the general public, whereas the government is always like, everybody's like, oh, the government can't keep secrets and blah, 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 blah. And, first of all, that's not exactly true. But second of all, it's not really the government so much as the industry in control of the government, right? So it's the private sector that's the problem, mostly with the technology suppression over the last 100 years, right? There's a profit incentive for these companies to stay on top. And they simply do not, like Bearden said, want to see, these, schmucks pulling energy out of the vacuum. They probably don't have problems with devices like mine because they're not very efficient. They're not going to replace anything. They're not going to be competitors on the market, to them at least. So we're not cornering anybody. We're not taking away anybody's money. Basically, we're just forming a new area in the market. In my opinion, it's when you overstep that line and you kind of introduce something that's groundbreaking, like Stan Meyer's water-powered car, or something that's going to power a house or a lot, like T. Henry Moray, for instance. He had no input power, and he was able to, I think, power like 500 kilowatts, I think, was the maximum output. And Floyd Sweet and his vacuum triode amplifier, which could operate, I forget, it was in the dozens of kilowatts off of a quarter of a milliwatt of power. So this is very interesting, what he's saying here, because it all relates to what we see now, and what we have been seeing over the last 100 years. It's just piecing together the puzzle. Like these things aren't talked about for a reason. They're manufactured taboo. It's it's another form of what they did with, Marxism. Marxism challenges the status quo, so it's a manufactured taboo. If you understand what Marxism is, it's simply the scientific analysis of capitalism. That's it. So, it's all very clear, the con, and the veil kind of gets lifted once you start piecing together these puzzle pieces and seeing the bigger picture.
Now, the normal nature of the beast for very powerful empires, let's call that an empire. It's a corporate empire, a set of corporations empire, is basically a cartel. Historically, as far back as you want to go, we have had cartels. Any time we have a very powerful cartel or set of people that control a lot of things, that resists any means of changing its inflow of control and its inflow of funds and money and its power. Everybody's trying to be the big monkey. It's really as simple as that. And so the more powerful the agency, the more powerful the group, the more powerful the cartel, the more they will resort not only to legal means, but to extra legal means to suppress their competition.
Absolutely. And we are coming up on our top of the hour, 8 o'clock switch over. So we're going to stop the video section and we're going to go into a little bit of the updates that I have for you guys before we take an intermission. Or actually, no, we'll take the intermission now and then I'll do the update. That's better because then we're going to do the switch over. So yeah, we'll take a quick, 5-10 minute intermission. And then I'm going to come back and tell you guys about the updates this week that I have for you. Some exciting ones, some pretty cool ones, actually. I'm not really sure what they all mean, the implications of them, but maybe you guys can shed some further light on what some of these test results are telling us. So it's very exciting. I'm really excited about this this last set of tests because it is showing continued promise in efficiency for the Lightning Thief and potentially other devices as well, like the Green Machine. So with that, we're going to go to a quick intermission, and I'll be back with some updates. Oh, and I do have the PCBs. I have the PCBs. I've been working on them. I got one to work, and I'm going to show you them. I'm going to break down the PCB and everything and how you put it together. And while we're in our league tonight, I might be working on one in the background because I want to get some of these out to the team. These are Gen 1 prototypes. They might not be the full consumer version, right? They might have features that the consumer version does not have, or they might not have features that the consumer version has. Either way, it might be a little different, the one that I decide to put on the market. But we will have those devices for you later next year. I want to make sure that I have enough tested and stockpiled before I actually start taking orders on those. That's going to be really cool because at that point I should be at the point where I'm going to be able to start selling the coils as well. So you can it's going to be like coil kits. So you'll put together like a little kit, you'll go on my shop and you'll say, hey, I want a coil kit. So what coil do you want? You want this coil. Okay. Do you want the kit to build it yourself, or do you want me to build it? Okay, I want you to build it. Okay, this is my specifications. Okay, you want a custom one? Okay. So what exactly do you want to do with this coil? What is your practical application? Oh, you want a Lightning Thief. Okay, so you want to do some lighting with it and some testing with efficiency and lighting. Okay, so you'll go online, you'll get the coil, you'll get the Lightning Thief, and basically that's it. I'm probably not going to sell batteries, but obviously you'll need a power source. I put recommendations on there. Obviously, I tell you exactly what I'm using right now, which is the Pirate battery. It's very awesome. I love it. It's small. It works very well. So I'm satisfied with it, and it's very cheap. So yeah. With that, we're gonna go to a quick intermission, and I'll be back with those updates.
In a lab, my dust cracks the code tonight. Oh yeah, that's true. Wires and circuits to shine in neon light. Oh yeah, seen you creating power from the air. These smiles and delight. Oh yeah. Mike does it right. Hey. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest friends. Down in the basement, secrets start to glow. Oh yeah. With Nathan and Lulu in the show. Oh, brilliant team. Mike came from Faraday. We're letting knowledge flow. Energy streams. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest fans. Years of thought, bringing dreams to life, turning theories into electric light. Mike and us, a journey to ignite. We've reached new heights. Mike does all my keys to one. Teaching us knowledge, lighting the sun, trumpeting his legacy alive is his. Mike does knows we're his biggest fans.
And in the depths of shadowed halls, I wandered all alone, casting whispers, binding chains, demons of my own. I seek death and name, down spread on my frail soul. I once read my mirror, haunted by my role. But in the echoes of my cries, just still I emerge, guiding me to where my true results are. Now I rise from the shadows with wings of fire and sand, free from the chains of sorrow, all these times are forever defend. Shattered glass beneath my feet, scars I wear but dry. Stormy nights just turn to dawn, I wear truth the depths of his oppression. It's the rise of a true nation.
This minor galaxy, every number secret sound. Years in shadows chasing dreams, the loneliness where he was bound. But in those waves of radiant truth lies the magic of his youth. Oh, like the night victor spark, he's a beacon in the dark. The math magician's rise, we see the world through his eyes. They call him out a lonely star, lost in formulas so bizarre. Connections made where none could see, a future bright while symmetry. Beyond the whisper and the sneers, Victor's victory over the years. Like the night victor spark, he's a beacon in the dark. The math magician's rise, we see the world through his eyes. Among the thinkers there's a place for dreams of courage and embrace the truth like fire at grand delight, Victor's vision in full flight. Oh, like the night victor spark, he's a beacon in the dark. The math magician's bright, we see the world through his eyes.
Welcome back, everybody, to the pre-game show. We're going to jump right into the updates for the week. Give me a second to pull up the video. That's not right. Sorry about that. Here we go. So, I did some testing. Here, let me actually show you first. Let me show you the coil first. So, we're going to do that. Okay, so this is the Vortex Micro. This is Michel Morel's frame that he sent me. His design. As you can see, it's got a different inner to outer ratio it's a lot tighter. This is just the one wind. I did actually find another spool I forgot I had. And now that I have found that, we can actually, I didn't think we could do it, but we can make this one. I put this one together the other day. And this is, we should be able to do both winds on this one. So we're going to test, what we're going to do is we're going to test this one. And obviously we already did that test, and I'm going to show you the results of it. With the magnetic rotary, the neodymium sphere, the simulated magnetic rotary. And we're then going to put together this one with the double wind, the interference pattern, and compare it. All right? And this is about the size that's going to be included, I approximate, that's going to be included, hopefully, in the green machine. So we're going to have one of these in the green machine for you, all ready to go, so you don't have to actually have a coil to hook up to it. I might maybe have a more cheaper version without the coil. I don't know. We'll look at different options for the green machine after I do testing of the Lightning Thief. So I want to get the Lightning Thief tested first. But we're going to show you the results of the micro vortex magnetic rotary. And then we're going to get into the exciting updates for the Lightning Thief. So let me load the video. Down. Gotta get it right here and there. Oh, is it here? Micro vortex rotary. I think this is it. Okay, I wanted to share something very... So that's... Okay. I had this problem earlier. We're gonna have to share the screen. So I'm gonna... I don't know why it's sideways. But I'm just gonna share the screen. Okay, I wanted to share something. Okay, here it is. Oh, it just crashed. What the heck? There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, I wanted to share something very, very, very weird. We have the micro vortex coil without the interference pattern. These are soldered, so everything is good to go. 17.9 volts going into the 18 max volt board. Okay, so the camera kind of paused on accident, and I hit play, and I have a part 2 to this, but listen to the squeaking. It's still squeaking when I take the neodymium sphere outside of the vortex. That is very weird, and it sounds like it's coming from the coil. It's insane. I can't explain it. Sounds like a squeaky wheel. Where is that coming? It's coming from the coil. It's still making the noise. The squeaky coil. Chirping. What the heck? What the F? None of the other coils do that. I've never seen that. That is when I saw that, I was like, what? Like I said, none of the other coils do that. I've never seen that in any of the testing that I've done with these coils over the past year or so. I've never seen that, ever. That is very weird. If anything, there's a high-pitched hum when it's in resonance using the capacitor on the open circuit method, using the stereo amp board, using the capacitor, though, it makes the high-pitched hum like the lightning thief. But it sounds like it's coming from the circuit, right? Which is what it is. It's coming from the circuit. When you have it hooked up to the power supply, the workbench power supply, it sounds like it's coming from the power supply. I mean, I guess that's the loudest component that's going to make that hum. I don't know. Maybe that's just my theory, but I've never seen that before. It's never did that before. Like when you put the sphere in, yeah, it makes it amplifies the sound. It makes a speaker, but not when you take it away. It's not supposed to make that sound when you take it off too. What? Yeah, it could be coming from both, but like I said, when you hear the hum in the lightning thief, it's first of all, it's different. It's noticeably different. It's very, very high frequency, so it's a high hum, but it sounds, you can hear it. It's hard to tell sometimes, but it's noticeably coming from the circuit, not the coil. I can't explain it. It's insane. I put my ear up to the board and everything, and it's coming from the coil. I'm like, what? It's cool. It's really, really cool. I do have a part 2. If I can play that, if it loads for me. Will you load for me? Come on, baby. My hard drive's getting a little stuffed. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, you can see that? So as you can see, without the interference pattern, it isn't as fast, but it's still stable and steady. And we test the RPMs with the tachymeter, and we get approximately anywhere from... That's not right. That's a crappy tachyometer. It's cheap. Anywhere from 200 to 400 RPM. No, 582. That's what it was. This thing is a little crappy, but 582 is what it was registering at. That makes about sense visually. Got 9.3 and 2.33 amps on the wall. Keep in mind, the Mark 1, I got that sucker to go to 70,000 RPM. It was flying, baby. It was scary fast. We go actually up from, when we put the frequency in without the magnet, we go up from around 9.3, 10 watts to 30 watts. And with this, it might be going down slightly. I don't know. Let's take it out. So it is. When you're spinning the sphere in this setup with the small mini coil and the one wind, it's going from 34.7, and you can see it kind of fluctuate down over time to 34.6. It's switching. And it's exactly what we see in the Daniel Nunes video when he demonstrates the magnetic rotary that he had, which wasn't a neodymium sphere. It was a real rotary with a, a bolt or whatever that he placed on top of the donut. He got it to go down from like 5 watts to 4 watts. Like, so he saved 1 watt, but we saved 30 watts with the neodymium sphere, guys. 30 watts of power. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Now, how to actually utilize that in a practical application for, something that I can use in my everyday life, we're still going to have to work on that. But it is exciting because we are noticeably seeing 30 watts of efficiency gain. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see where it's at. So it's at 34.7, going down from 0.7 to 0.6. Mike, you make a good point. With a smaller sphere, I could probably, yes. And this will that's a good point, Mike. This coil will probably need a very small sphere.
Okay, yeah, so
Exactly.
going down slightly.
You solved it.
34.7 to 34.6.
I wasn't considering the size. Again, this thing without the interference pattern is significantly less efficient, but it still should serve its purpose for further testing. The weird thing about this is that you can actually hear the frequency without anything attached, with just the coil, and it's really weird. Really, I've never heard it with the other ones. Just making that noise. Yeah, you hear the high pitch with the lightning thief, but never with this setup have I heard it. Except my theory is because it's so small, you can hear the lower frequency. I don't know, but you can. It's a lower frequency. It's only like what did I get it? 17 or something when it was spinning. It's a low frequency compared to the high frequency you hear when you're in resonance with the coil, which is like, you know, anywhere from 2,000 hertz to, you know, 18,000 hertz or what, you know, up. So that size, the small micro size, I think is key here in some of these interesting effects that we're seeing. With the capacitor. So without the capacitor, this is interesting. So listen to this. Okay, hear the squeak. Listen for the squeaking. Yes, we should all make coils. Join my coil kits team. We'll make coils. We'll be a coil kit family.
Wave, so it's going to be squared.
We'll save the world one coil at a time.
So, but listen to this. We take it out. Still making that squeaking noise. Sounds like it's coming from the coil.
Michelle was laughing when I sent him this video because he's like,
comes the AC to ruin
the squeaking is so funny. It sounds like a wheel.
See that? Very cool, and we're at 17. And notice we're going up and down on the current, okay? And I don't have anything attached, but it's still going up and down. Very weird with the frequency.
Yeah, I have nothing on that. I can't explain that. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what that means. Absolutely no idea what that means. All right, so moving on to the PCB that we received in the mail from Michel Morel, his design of the Lightning Thief consumer version. So this is the Gen 1 prototype that I will be developing into the consumer version with this PCB. Let me actually disable that background again for you guys because it is not showing it like I want it to. Okay, so Alright, so this is the BeneficenceTV Coil Kits Lab Shop Lightning Thief circuit. Okay, you can build one yourself. It's all open source, but this is the official PCB version that we're going to be putting out there for you guys to purchase, and we're going to be sending to the team to test as well. So as you can see, Michel has included an open circuit method as well as a closed circuit method for the Lightning Thief, which I have not tested yet. I've only been using the closed circuit method. We do have information on which capacitor to test out for the open circuit method, and I'll be doing tests with that soon as I can get the capacitor. But as you can see, everything plugs in on the left, the channel A and channel B, and then you have the power input at the top, you have the transistor at the top, and then you have, it's kind of hard to see with that light, you have the resistor in the middle and the diode in the middle, and at the bottom you have the potentiometer that you will eventually replace with the resistor, if you so choose to. You don't need to, honestly. I'm going to have it so you have the potentiometer right sticking out of the case, so you have the potentiometer to tune it, and you have the banana clip input so you can see which ohm level you're at if you wanted to replace it. But technically you don't have to. You could just keep the potentiometer at that rate, or that level, that tuning. So it's very, very cool. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I did put one together. It does work. It works beautifully. Honestly, it works beautifully. The only issue I had was today, I think one of the connections got wonky and it stopped working. So I'm going to have to go over the solderings. I might have, soldered something incorrectly, or maybe I burnt the board. But we have a bunch of them to test out with, so I'm gonna do some testing with this to see the best way to put it together for you guys. What I'm thinking about doing is putting, see here for the replaceable parts like the transistor, if you want to swap transistors, or if you fry one, or the neon protection at the bottom here, if you want to swap that out, if you burn it out or whatever. We're going to put like some of those with terminal input blocks so they're easily swappable. So if you fry a component or you want to swap one out, you want to modify it, you say you buy your Lightning Thief, you fried something, you don't want to buy another one, you just, want to replace what's burnt out, easily do so. You can swap that component out without purchasing a new one. Or you can modify it. It's going to be moddable, so you can try different transistors and, different neon lamps if you want to customize the color of the neon. Also, I do recommend the yellow and green neons for any coils that produce high power, because some of them will be very efficient compared to others. And if your coil turns out to be really, really efficient, you want to slap that baby with a yellow or green neon, which I'm planning on hopefully including a set of different color of neons for you guys for your Lightning Thief. I haven't made my mind up yet if that's going to be the consumer version, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to include that at least for the team members for their prototype testing. So if they want to swap out their LEDs for a different color or whatever. I know some of you guys have different coils that you'd like to test this on, not just the Abha or the Rodin. We don't know what kind of effects it's going to have. If it's going to be very efficient, you don't want to blow something out like the transistor right away. So that's very important to keep in consideration. I mean, if it's very efficient, you might need to hook a load up to it, and otherwise you might blow it. One neon might not be enough protection. So just keep that in mind. But I want to make these moddable. So that's the idea, and they're cool. They're really cool. I'm really happy with these. I really, really appreciate Michel for all the work that he's done with these and with the coil and helping me with my research. It's been an amazing journey, and I hope that we have some things solid for you guys soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you some teasers with what this thing is capable of. And recently, I discovered just how powerful this thing is. Now check this out. Okay, this has never been seen before. I've never seen this before anywhere. This is very cool. Let me real quick.
So
let me show
ignore
you
that.
the,
We're just printing out another coil frame. Little mini one.
PCB test. Sorry. Before I show you that, let me show you the PCB test. I'm going to show you it real quick. It's just a quick video of the PCB working.
So ignore that. We're just printing out another coil frame. Little mini one right here. Right here, another coil frame. But we have our BeneficenceTV Lightning Thief PCBs in. I put it together and it fucking works. Got the closed circuit method hooked up right now. And as you can see, it works.
So
Pretty cool.
I put a switch on there, but we're just gonna replace that with a, just a simple wire from point to point, just so it's just in an on state. I could put a switch in there if I wanted to, but it's just kind of inconvenient. I tried it out. I'm just trying different things, and for practical purposes for testing, we're gonna keep the switch off for now. I'm just gonna put like a little wire from point to point though. But it stopped working, so I'm gonna have to go over it tonight at some point in the background and try to diagnose the problem, try to troubleshoot it, see if I can get it working, or hopefully I can get it working and I don't have to build another one and desolder all that stuff, because I don't have a lot of those components in stock, specifically the transistors. I only have 2 of those. So anyways, we are going to go show you that amazing update. So this is really cool. I've never seen this before. I didn't expect this to even be possible. I didn't think this was possible, guys. I didn't think this was friggin' possible.
I have the PCB board in here. Everything's hooked up, working. I have the original Lightning Thief hooked up to the Mark I coil at the top. Here's the fucking weird thing, okay? This is now hooked up to the power. It's now hooked up to the load. What it's hooked up to is just the coil. The coil's not hooked up to anything, okay? So you have the red, the black, the yellow, and the green all going into the Lightning Thief, but nothing else. Just the coil input. Watch this. So this is the one that's actually plugged into the battery. It's powering this light. Check this out. I unplugged the positive, and look at this. The neon is being lit. That means high voltage is being induced wirelessly from coil to coil. I've never seen this before. I've never been able to see that much voltage come out from wireless induction. That is fucking nuts. That is insane. Okay, we expect this, but what is going on here? What? And this is the switch for it. We hold the switch down, and yeah, it goes off because it's connecting to nothing. Let's try hooking up the load.
So I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was really cool. So as you know, if you've been following my research, we've been struggling to get more than, one LED to be, lit by the wireless induction method, right? I often test it by putting, a coil on top of the coil that I'm testing. I'll put a pickup coil on top of it, and that's not hooked up to anything. It's just connected to a small LED, an Arduino kit LED or whatever. And when it's in resonance, it will produce the wireless induction into the pickup coil, and the LED will light. But I've been struggling all this time to do more than that. Just that one LED. And here we have wireless induction inducing enough voltage, at least 60 volts is the breakdown voltage for that neon lamp, I believe. At least 60 volts into there. What? That's awesome. Now we have something. Now we have something, okay? Now we have something to work with that is solid for the wireless induction. I was like, oh, what are we going to do with this wireless induction? It's not doing anything really useful. Yeah, it lights this, small LED. So what? What am I going to do with that? It looks cool, but other than that, it's not really useful. Well, now we have something useful, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing, and I am really excited about this. I'm excited to tell the team about this on tonight's show. This is extraordinary news, and I'm very excited to update you guys here on the members-only live stream pregame show. So, and that's what that is all about. Anytime I have breaking news, you guys will get it first because you guys are the ones who are supporting this channel and keeping my lights on. And that's not an over-exaggeration. You're literally keeping my lights on by helping me with these donations and supporting the page. So I really appreciate all the love and the support and help in that area. In that respect, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to open it up to questions for about the last 10 minutes before we go to switch over to our league main show. So we're going to switch over at 8:50. So it gives us 10 minutes to prep for the main show. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything that you like to say or whatnot, just shoot them in the chat for me, and we're going to chill out for a few minutes. And I'll put the link for the main show in the chat as well, so you guys have that. It's also in the description, though. I just like to bombard you guys with all sorts of links. Main show. Yeah, it says error, but I don't know. We'll see. If it doesn't work, just refresh the channel and look for another link on the main page, the main channel landing page. Yes. Which video? That video? Okay, give me 1 second. I'll load it up. I just gotta make sure it doesn't have any music or anything. Oh, this is a Robert Murray? You want me to play Robert Murray? No, that's not the video. Hold on. So you gave me a link making a speaker. Oh, that video. Okay. All right, we're gonna watch this video from Vor. Is this your channel? Oh, this is. Oh, I haven't subscribed. My bad. Here, let me subscribe to your channel. My bad. I get so busy I sometimes forget. I'm sure you told me at one point. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Oh, you got a toggle switch. So you're gonna have to explain this. Walk me through it. Walk me through it, boy. Show me what you got. Audio from electrically charged balloon. No magnets. I rubbed wool on a balloon. Huh. All electrostatic. That's interesting. Yeah, because from what I understand, electrostatic field is what produces the wireless transmission of energy, right? You have to have an electrostatic field, the static electricity. You know, a field that's not in motion, I guess that's what it means. I don't know. Shows the A field, E field. Wow. That's cool. I'll be honest, I'm not really too familiar with that stuff, but if you ever want to come on and explain it to me a little further onto the Fringe Think Tank, you know, let us know. I'm not too familiar with what an A field or E field is, but, you know, more than welcome to, you know, if you want to, you know, come on and present something, obviously you can reach out to me or Nathan. But yeah, I'd like to learn more. Unfortunately, we only have about 6 minutes. Yeah. The League, yes. So we're getting ready for the main show here in a few minutes, guys. So get ready to switch over. I might actually end the stream in 3 or 4 minutes, yeah. Yeah, that'll give me 10-15 minutes to get ready for the main show. All right. Yeah, I'll throw that up as soon as this stream ends, guys. As soon as this stream ends, I'm going to throw up the next stream, and we're going to get ready for the main show at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard as usual. So I'm going to end the stream, guys. Get ready to switch over now. Get ready to switch over, guys. Switch over to the main show. There's a link in the description, a link in the chat. If you don't see the stream, if it's not working, just go to the landing page, the main channel page, hit live, and refresh until you see the live. Appreciate all the love and support. Let's get ready for the League of Extraordinary